You have an awesome idea for a book. However, you don't know where to start as far as getting that idea out onto paper. This was a question that was given to me by Jazzy YB over on Instagram. Hi, Jazzy. And so I have a bunch of advice that I can offer for new aspiring writers who have this idea for a book but just need to make that leap into actually writing it. First thing that you should understand is that there are three main methods of writing a novel. The first is called discovery writing, or pantsing, because you fly by the seat of your pants. The second is called plotting, because you actually write out the plot of the book and then fill it in. And then the third is a hybrid approach, where you do partially discovery writing and partially plotting. For my first novel, it was a YA fantasy that ended up being 194,000 words. I discovery wrote, pantsed it. I just had this idea for a book. I opened a Microsoft Word document and I just started writing, and I wrote and I wrote and I wrote, and I followed the characters through this journey, and it ended up being this very massive thing. Now, if you know anything about word counts, you know that 194,000 words is way too long for your average YA. I went with it. I went on the journey. Yes. So anyway, my second book, Mortal Tether, I did the hybrid approach, where I knew the major plot points of the book, and then I allowed myself to discovery write in between those plot points. And I also allowed myself to be flexible to say, okay, this plot point that I had originally thought that I wanted, I'm going to shift that a bit, because now in the discovery writing process, I see that it should actually go this way. So I did allow myself some freedom. But having that main structure to work inside allowed me to craft my novel in a way that was appropriate for the genre, as far as getting it to be the target length it needed to be, getting it to be exciting, keeping those chapters like really, really snappy, and not having a lot of like filler or dead space in between. So having this hybrid approach was something that works for me, but different things work for different writers. Some writers are just able to plot, and that's the structure that they want to stay inside, and they make their plot and they stick to it. And then other writers discovery write, and it comes out like really close to their finished product the first time. The most important thing about your first draft is just to finish it, is just to, no matter what, even if you get a block in the story, like if you're writing and all of a sudden you don't know what's going to happen next, just take a breath, pause there, and then maybe write a different part of the story. Like don't just hit a wall and then stop and say, oh, I don't know what happens after this scene, so I can't move forward. Instead, just wait, come back to that later, and then maybe imagine something that happens much farther down the road, and then you can connect those two scenes later. The last part of advice I want to give you is about software. I started writing my first novel in Microsoft Word, and it quickly became very overwhelming for me, because I had all these characters and moving pieces, and sometimes when I wanted to go back and change something, it was difficult for me to find out where I had put it. So I started using Scrivener. I absolutely love Scrivener. Scrivener revolutionized my writing. It keeps you organized, it helps you break down chapters into individual scenes, so that way you can easily find things, move things around, delete things that didn't add anything relevant to the story. You can use character cards, you can make project targets, so that way you can say, oh, I want to write 500 words every day, and it will give you like a little progress bar that fills up and then dings to let you know like when you hit your word goal. It's very exciting. Also lets you set overall manuscript targets. So if I say, I know that this genre I'm going to target for 80,000 words, you can set the project target at 80,000 words, and it will update that progress bar. And then you can also set your daily word count goals that will help keep you on track. So that's just a fraction of the capabilities that Scrivener offers. It is such a great piece of software. I absolutely love it. I shout it to everybody. I'm like, this really helped my writing, because I started in Microsoft Word, and for me personally, it was very overwhelming just to have that wall of text. So those are my advice to you. Just make sure that you finish your first draft. Like, don't worry about being perfect the first time. Just get the story out of you, and then you can worry about the specifics of it later. And then the second thing is decide how you want to do that, if you want to do it plotting, pantsing, or a hybrid of both, and you can experiment and like find your groove. My first one, I pantsed. My second one, I did a plot pants hybrid. Like, you will find what works for you. Just write. So look into writing software, because I really do feel that it is beneficial. Maybe you want to start writing it in Microsoft Word and then see how you feel, and then you can always take that and then cut it and paste it into a piece of writing software later. So, you know, you don't have to get that right out of the gate. So that is my advice to you. I'm so excited for you that you're writing your first book. It's so wonderful that you are starting this journey. So happy writing. And if you need any help, if you need any feedback, or you want any advice, please go ahead and send me a message. I'm always happy to help if I can. So thank you so much, Jazzy, and everyone for watching this video. We'll see you next time. Oh, don't forget to sign up on my Substack, because I give writing tips and author advice on my Substack, in addition to doing other awesome things that I will talk about in a later video. But yes, CandiceJarrett.substack.com. Link is in the description. Bye.